Mawia, today's lesson is on Shona pronouns. To start off with, we need to understand what a pronoun is. As you can see from the name, pronoun, it's got something to do with nouns. Nouns basically being the name of things or concepts or ideas. And a pronoun is a word that is used instead of a noun or noun phrase. A pronoun in English would be I, you, he, she, it. Pronouns in general, they answer the question of who or what is doing something and to whom or what something is being done, as well as who something may belong to without using the actual noun's name. For instance, if I had the sentence, father is cleaning father's car, I can replace fathers in this instance with a pronoun his. Same thing, if I am mother's daughter and mother is cooking for mother's daughter, I can replace mother's daughter with me. In Shona, there are two types of pronouns, absolute pronouns and qualificative pronouns. Qualificative pronouns can further be broken down into 6 types: relative pronouns, enumerative pronouns, possessive pronouns, demonstrative pronouns, quantitative pronouns, and adjectival pronouns. We are not going to be looking at this today. That is higher grade and advanced and will be done at a later stage. Today, we are going to be focusing on the absolute pronoun as well as its concord. Absolute pronouns have concords. Concords are basically prefixes that can be used to substitute for the pronoun. So when you use a concord or the prefix, you can drop the absolute pronoun. Technically, and to be 100% grammatically correct, a concord is not a pronoun because it's a prefix. You need to complete a word with that prefix. It's only part of a word. Pronouns are full words. They can stand by themselves and have a function in a sentence. Concords, on the other hand, cannot stand by themselves. They are a prefix, and because they are a prefix, technically, grammatically, they are not pronouns. They are concords. But in day-to-day speech, people will tend to call the concord a pronoun, but just so that you know that at the back of your mind. In Shona, we have got noun classes. We have 21 classes, and each class has its own pronouns. Because there are more person pronouns than the classes, we have a total of 26 absolute pronouns. We are not going to be learning all 26 today. We will focus on personal pronouns as well as the pronouns for 6 noun classes. Personal pronouns are pronouns for people. The first person pronoun in English is I. In Shona, that translates to ini. The concord for ini we have seen already, and that is ndi. So sometimes you see ndi, you're like, what does that mean? Ndi means I. It's the pronoun, or rather the concord, the prefix that stands in for the personal pronoun ini. You, singular, is the second person pronoun. And in Shona, the second person pronoun singular is iwe. And the concord for that is u. Then we have the third person personal pronoun for he or she. We only have one pronoun for he or she in Shona, and that is iye. The concord for iye is a. Now let's go to the plural. If ini is singular, I, we is the plural for the first person, and we is isu. The concord for isu is ti. Second person plural, y'all, is imi. And the concord for imi is mu. The third person plural is they, that translates to evil. And the concord for evil is va. All of our personal pronouns have got something in common. They all start with the letter E. Ini, iwe, iye, isu, imi, evil. All absolute pronouns begin with the letter E. Now, let's take a look at some things. We've gone through 6 absolute pronouns as well as their matching concord, also known as their matching prefix. So let's take a look at some pronouns for the other classes. I have chosen the 3 most common classes that you're going to come across, as well as their plural counterpart. Noun classes have a singular, and then there's a plural counterpart class. It, in class 5, is iro. Starts with I because it's an absolute pronoun. It, in class 7, is icho. It, in class 9, is iyo. If I jump to the plural of these classes, iro has got a plural, and that would be iwo. Icho, as a plural, is izo. And iyo, as a plural, is izo. So, it, iro, they, iwo. It, icho, they, izo. It, iyo, they, izo. If we take a look then at what the corresponding concords are, iro's concord is ri. Icho's concord is chi. Iyo's concord is I. Iwo's concord is a. Ijo's concord is ji. And idzo's concord is zi. Let's take a look at some examples. So if I want to say I eat, I can say ini, ndi, no, juga. I, that is my pronoun. Eat is juga. We see the concord ndi at the beginning of our sentence, and then we also see the present tense marker, just to tell us we're eating in the present. I eat inindi nojga. I can also just say ndi nojga and drop the personal pronoun ini because ndi, the concord, already includes information that this is me. Ini and ndi are linked, so no other personal pronoun has the concord ndi. You eat equals iwe unojga. You, iwe, u. Eat, juga. And our present tense marker. This is the same for the rest of the personal pronouns. For he or she, that will be iye anojga. There's our personal pronoun iye and its concord a. For the plural we eat, that becomes isu tinojga. Isu tinojga. Your eat becomes imi munojga. They eat becomes ivo vanojga. In a sentence, you can drop the absolute pronoun, but you cannot drop the concord. You can drop the absolute pronoun, but you cannot drop the concord. These are all the personal pronouns. When it comes to things, nouns in the things classes, if I want to say it eats, then I can say icho chinodya or iro rinodya or iyo inodya. The plural counterparts would be they eat, izo zvinodya, iwo anodya, idzo dzinodya. And same as before, we can drop the absolute pronouns, but we cannot drop the pronoun concord. That has to stay there no matter what, because it tells us who is doing the eating. There's also a pronoun related to the absolute pronouns, which is basically the emphatic pronoun. And all this one does is it reduplicates part of the absolute pronoun in order to show emphasis. For example, iwe can become iwewe, which just basically is very much an emphasis on I. You can have iye, and that becomes iyeye, which becomes him. You can have ivo, which becomes ivavo, which becomes them. This one is the only one that, this one slightly changes and is not ivovo, it's ivavo. So we can come to this table and add in the emphatic pronouns. So ini becomes inini, iwe becomes iwewe, iye becomes iyeye, isu becomes isusu, imi becomes imimi, ivo is special, it becomes ivavo, iro becomes iroro, icho becomes ichocho, iyo becomes iyoyo, iwo becomes, it's another special one, iwawo, izo becomes izozo, idzo becomes idzodzo. That's it for our absolute pronouns. To summarize, absolute pronouns all start with the letter E. Absolute pronouns all have a matching concord. Each concord belongs to its own pronoun, with the occasional ones that are the same, like ah. Context will tell you. If it's a singular R, then you know it's likely this one belonging to he or she. If you're talking about a lot of things, though, then it's likely this one belonging to they. And lastly, for emphasis, we can duplicate the last syllable in the personal pronoun to make an emphatic pronoun, such as inini, iwewe, iyeye, isusu, imimi, ivavo, iroro, ichocho, iyoyo, iwawo, izozo, and idzodzo. I hope this clarifies the personal pronouns as well as some of the pronouns for things. See you in the next class and tonana.